Well, today I'm going to be talking about Friday Night Lights by H.G. Bissinger. This is a book about a football team, the Permian Panthers high school football team in West Texas back in 1988. Bissinger moved to Texas, spent a year with the team, highlighting the highs and the lows and the good and the bad of life in this small town in Odessa. Um, yeah, it's an interesting book. I couldn't put it down. I literally just blasted through this thing. I picked this up at the Goodwill for I think I got it for like $1.50. And, I'm not really I wouldn't consider myself a big football fan. I casually watch football. I'm not really into it. I'm more of a baseball guy myself. But yeah, I really enjoyed this. Buzz H.G. Bissinger, I think he goes by Buzz. This book isn't just about the football team. So let me just kind of set the table for you, because there is a movie. I'm going to talk about the movie here in a minute as well, from 2004, based on the book. But I'm going to talk about the book first. So this town in Odessa, Texas, is very much a petroleum-based or oil-based town. It's got a boom and bust cycle. He goes into the history of the town. He talks about its founding. He talks about how the football program there came to prominence, and it's a little bit of an obsession, how people in that community. Basically, football has become like a religion almost. It's like it's very cultish in a way. But this book delves into kind of the racial tensions in this community as well, the socioeconomic divide, the non-white players, the non-white community, the Hispanics, and the African Americans that live on the other side of the tracks, so to speak, literally live on the other side of the tracks. And it really focuses on Coach Gary Gaines, one of the main points of focus, and just how the people in this town, if you lose, if you don't perform up to their standards, they're pounding for sale signs in this guy's yard and just bad mouthing him publicly. And just the strain that puts on him. And let me just say, the stadium in this town where this school is at, it seats 19,000 people. They're chartering flights to play rival teams. It's this is not your local high school football here, where I live. This is big time football. In fact, it's so big that some of the players on this team that it went on to college said that the college experience didn't live up to what it was like playing for the Permian Panthers. That there was more people in attendance at the Panthers games than there was in the college atmosphere. So yeah, just the excitement level was higher. So it was interesting. Now, the other people that the book focuses on, there's a handful of them. One of them is Boobie Miles, who is a running back. And it highlights his struggles as he gets a knee injury in a scrimmage game. And yeah, it's really devastating to him. And his uncle LV basically took custody of him and got him into football to try to keep the kid out of trouble, to give him something to focus on and whatnot. And then we have the other Mike Winchell, who is the quarterback. Okay, and we also have Brian Chavez. This kid applied to Harvard and ended up going to Harvard. Very smart academically, in addition to being a good football player. And then we also had Jared McDougal. and Don Billingsley. Don Billingsley, in his relationship with his father, is really kind of a focus of the film. And Ivory Christian, who's another African American student who has aspirations to be a preacher. Okay, he's also featured in the film as well. But I think probably for the real focus in the movie, it really doesn't focus on all the players that are in the book. This really focuses more on Booby, on Mike Winchell, and for the most part, Don Billingsley and Coach Gaines. It's a great read. I really enjoyed this. It really delves into like some really meaty stuff. This isn't just about football. This is about like 1988. It's like a time capsule. It's like a snapshot in time of a time that has come and gone. You know, there's references to one of the students hyping himself up by playing Bon Jovi's Lay Your Hands on Me. Bobby Miles in the book, he's a big fan of Public Enemy. Terminator X by Public Enemy is kind of like his song that he uses to fire himself up and whatnot. So this is like really 80s, man. In fact, this is taking place during a presidential campaign year, the end of Reagan's 8 years as president. George Bush Sr. is running for president against Michael Dukakis. There's a whole chapter that features talking about George Bush's trip down to Texas on the campaign and how the Bushes lived in this area, in the Odessa Midland area. Yeah, it's a great read. I don't really know what else to say. It's so over the top, you know, is what I'm saying. And it's a lot of the people in Odessa did not appreciate when this book was published in 1990, because he doesn't hold back. He opens up the closet and shows you the skeletons, the racial tensions, how some of the players get favoritism because of the rule that if you have under a 70% in academics, you're ineligible for play. So how people are trying to bend the rules concerning that and go easier on the players, and kind of the detrimental effect that has on their life after the game is over. So stop talking about that. I'm going to talk about the movie, the film now. Friday Night Lights came out 2004, starring Billy Bob Thornton as Coach Chris Gaines, and it also had Tim McGraw in it as Don Billingsley's father. Okay, and he's really kind of an abrasive character. It's based on the best-selling book, although it focuses more on the team itself and doesn't get so much into the racial. There is some about the racial tensions, but not to the extent that it is in the book. I mean, there's a whole chapter in this book about the ease of use of people just using the N-word left and right. I think there's only one scene in this movie where the N-word is used. It's a booster talking to Coach Gaines, and she uses that word, and they only use it one time in the movie, because in Hollywood, if you use the N-word more than once, you get a rated R. This movie's rated PG-13. But yeah, it's really a great movie. I really enjoyed it. It sticks pretty close to the book, although there are some differences. For instance, when Bobby Miles gets hurt in real life, it happened during a scrimmage game, and in here it happens during the regular season. There's also a change to what did I say? When Bobby Miles does get hurt, okay, he ends up quitting the team. I think it's after the Permian Midland Lee game where they go up against the Rebels. He quits the team, and that's pretty much the last you see of him in the book. Now, in the movie, he comes back. He's on crutches, and he rides with the team to the championship game and whatnot. He's on the bus with them. That didn't happen Okay, that's part of the thing. That's Hollywood. That didn't happen in real life. So actually, Booby kind of had a falling out for a while with his uncle LV, which is really heartbreaking. I think Booby's story is kind of the heart of both the book and the film, and just the tragedy that his life became afterwards is really sad. But yeah, I just want to say this is a great movie. There are things that are different about it. Obviously, the Permian Panthers, there's some differences as to how far they got into the playoffs in the film versus the book. Some things have been changed to make the film more, Hollywood. But for the most part, it sticks. Probably 90% of what's in the film is true to what happened in real life. So I give it a thumbs up. I give this a thumbs up. Even if you don't like football, this is a page turner. This is one that I just am going to highlight and say this is probably the greatest sports book I've ever read. I could not put it down. And this was the first time I watched the film. So, and I really liked the movie. In fact, I ended up picking this up for $2. I found this at $2 yesterday at the Goodwill. I had borrowed a copy from the library and watched it, but it was full screen, and then I found the widescreen copy sitting there. So I got, look at this. This is why we shop at the Goodwill, folks. I spent like a grand total of like $4. $2 for the, well, it was like $3.50, right? $2 for this, $1.50 for the book. So I spent $3.50. That's bargain shopping. Anyways, thanks for watching this review. I hope it didn't bore you to tears. Thumbs up on both of these. Check them out. I may even check out the television series. Never watched it because I really enjoyed this. Have a wonderful day.